So, welcome back to the bar. It's good to see you again. And the bar chat today is still around the theme of this series, which is all about this mythical but important phrase, best practice. Important because it's something to aim for, but mythical because you never get there. It's something that's an infinity type statement. You're always striving to do better. So what we're going to look at today in episode 5 of this series is who gains most from that term, best practice. And I say this as someone who runs a management consultancy that focuses and specializes specifically around change management and portfolio management. So we are consultants, we're management consultants. And my question is partly a provocation that I put to myself. I look in the mirror when we're doing proposals, and it's a provocation, a challenge that I make to myself. But it's a challenge I'm going to ask you to make for yourselves as well. And I think, you will know the answer. So my question is, who gains the most out of this term, best practice? Because it's a consultant's dream to come in and sell a new methodology or an evolution from where you are now to this best practice, using this best practice approach. And of course, you can then package that up into individual packages and sell it. And it's not so difficult for the company you're selling to buy into it, because it all sounds very good. What's on the outside of the tin is fantastic new processes or fantastic new tools and systems or newly trained people with accreditations in various different areas and methodologies. And I would do nothing to discredit that type of activity at all. But what I would do is say, challenge yourselves over the value of some of these best practice initiatives that you can be sold by consultants, and question those proposals. And I think a really good couple of phrases or words to use to question those proposals is, number one, so what? So when you're sold a package of work, or when you're considering a package of work around the theme of best practice, say to yourself, or say to the consultants, so what? What are we going to get out of it? What difference is this going to make? How is it going to make a difference? What value is it going to add? And how is it going to completely change the way we operate for the better? And where are those benefits going to be really realized? So you're then buying into the outcomes rather than the process itself, because lots of companies don't have very good processes and they're all a bit chaotic and shambolic. And someone who comes along and says, well, if you did it this way, then you'll have a nice streamlined set of processes to work to. That's quite enticing, but it's not the answer you're looking for. The answer you're looking for is, if I do put those streamlined processes in, what difference will it really make? Will it really mean that we will deliver quicker, or will have more delivery certainty? And if so, by how much? What sort of benefits, what sort of outcomes will be delivered? And the other question I would ask yourself, as much as you can when those proposals are coming through, is why? Why should we do that? Why is it the right thing to do? What happens when we do it? What's the next step? Why do we go through that next step? Because the more you scrutinize it, the more lean you'll make those processes, the more effective you'll make those processes, systems, people, and probably the more closely aligned you will make sure they are to your existing environment, the maturity and the capability of your people and your organization. So don't always let the consultants win. I am one, and we sort of do this work packages which are all focused around improving people's organizations and operations. But the consultancy should be looking in the mirror and asking those same questions, and so should you. And if you get those two together, you're probably going to be buying a very valuable piece of work. If you sort of don't do that analysis, that scrutiny, that quality assurance on the proposal, the danger is you buy a process, you don't buy the outcomes from the process. Good luck with it.